You get one more thing, sir. A friend was born for adversity. I know the verse says a brother is born for adversity. All right, so according to God, the author, the architect, the creator, the maker, the builder, the formulator, the original inventor of humanity, he said in Revelation 21:8, but the fearful and unbelieving. Now it's a list of 9 things that's wrong with the human nature, but the top 2 are the most intriguing to me because, wow, I think that's the majority of the ingredients. Probably half of our problems come from fear and unbelief. Now the 2 sound to be synonyms at the surface, and they're not. They are distinctive, so we'll cover fear at the first. Fear fills the void of the unknown. Most people feel fearful when they just don't know. Facts bring a calming assurance, but we don't like the facts. We push the facts away, and we fill the void with fragile, frizzled, frazzled. I don't know. I heard, and I don't know if it's true, but it's interesting to consider that somebody said that he used to be scared of scary movies. Now, I hate scary movies with a passion. I think they're just dumb. He said what helped him get over it is he realized how they were made. And once he had the facts in place, then he's like, well, that's dumb. People freak out over things they don't fully comprehend. Some people are really afraid of aliens and UFOs and demonic oppression, and they just get all insanely filled with fear. Why? Lack of facts. Lack of solid facts. Or they go collecting facts that are feeding on this mysterious urge to want to live in a land of torment. Fear hath torment. It's self-torture. So the homework assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to come up with 3 things that replace fear. Now, there's not just a one answer. You can't just say, well, perfect love casteth out fear. Yes, that's one verse. That's great. But give me 2 more. Come on, 2 more. Better than, superior to fear. I can think of 2, 3, 4, 5. Come on now. You have the same Holy Ghost inside of you. What has God... Now, there's so many verses. Better than fear. Replacing fear. Do we really want to live here? So fear is the chief operating system of most people. Fear is a feeling. It's not a fruit. It's not stable. It can't be simultaneously present with other things. So there's fear. Pause. Breathe. Shift. Inhale. Unbelief. Unbelief typically comes from, I just can't believe that anymore. Meaning, I've experienced pain, disconnect, discontentment. I had a horrible experience with another person. So therefore, I just don't believe that it's going to be better. And so unbelief settles in. It's just the natural tendency of humanity to become more cynical as we grow older. So here's the illustration. If you walk up to an 8-year-old in the park, which is weird. We don't want to do that. But let's say we're in a proper setting. The parents are all present. Everybody's there. This is a friend of yours, friend of the family, right? And let's say it's just either at a social gathering or at church, and a parent is there and the child is there, and it's a 10-year-old, right? And you hand the 10-year-old a $20 bill. So here you go. That 10-year-old is going to do what? They're going to grab the money, and they're probably going to say, thank you. And that's it. It's over. Occasionally, when they get to be 10 or 12, they might say, what's that for? Thank you. They take it, though. That's step one, is they're going to receive it. And then they might have a question about why, right? But you do that same thing to a 15-year-old, 18-year-old, 20-year-old. You hand them a $50 bill, and they're going to be like, no. Their first thing they're going to do is look up, then they're going to look left, then they're going to look at someone else. They're going to look around. They're not going to move their hands. They're not going to reach out and grab it. Why? They've been burned before. They know this is being filmed. They know there's something wrong. There's got to be ulterior motives. Am I going to be embarrassed? Nobody does this. Nobody does nice things without motives. Why? That's what all the old people learned. As we get older, we get more unbelieving. We get resistant to good gifts. We won't accept the kindness. That kindness has to be tied to something deeper. You're not trying to be nice to me because you want to be nice to me. I don't believe it. Let's use a construction illustration. Let's just say a general contractor. They build houses. Well, has anyone ever had a bad experience with a contractor? I mean, there's a bunch of them, Talking about concrete, basements, buildings, walls, there's a ton of different trades that come through the house to build the bones. You got your carpenter, drywall, electric, plumbing, all these guys. So contractors are good at one thing, their hands, constructing. They're not really great at communicating. Therefore, there's the potential for misunderstanding. Well, I thought you wanted it this way. I don't know. I mean, I just always do it this way. Why would I have to ask you? I installed it this color or built it this way. Anyway, so communication is not the greatest skill of an installer of anything. Therefore, the top complaints between a homeowner or a building owner and a construction company is, I don't feel like we're communicating. Like, I don't think there's a good, healthy conversation here. I don't feel like I'm being heard. I feel like you're just doing things and you're not talking to me. We're not, like, the discussion is not healthy. I don't know what it is. I'm not involved. So this creates a general disdain throughout the populace that people who build things, I like to make fun of it. I like to think it's hilarious. I like to say, people who build things with their hands are really connected to their hands, but their face and their mouth, not so much. I'm too busy working. Why do I need to talk about it? I'm a mechanic. I'm fixing the thing. So anyway, that's a long illustration, but it leads me to say that the homeowner the next time is like, you know what? I'm not going to experience that before. I'm going to make sure that we're on the same page, that there's good communication, there's good connection. I'm going to be a better talker. I'm going to get things in writing. I'm going to make sure nobody rips me off again. There's teasing in the world about it's so hard to find a good contractor nowadays, so hard to find a good mechanic. Well, there's two parts to that equation, but it ties back to unbelieving. We become unbelievers because we've had a bad experience. What was the bad experience? Well, we were involved. We were part of it. So there's no innocent parties. It takes two people to connect, to communicate. I guess one side could be totally innocent, but that's pretty rare. Normally, we could have all said it a little bit better. So how do we replace unbelief? Well, obvious, it's the un of belief. Well, how do we get to the land of belief? Well, we got to come up with synonyms. There's 3 synonyms for belief. You already know them. To believe is to trust. Now, that's not the definition. That's just a synonym. I would like to look up the Strong's and the Greek and the English definition of believe. What does it mean? Exercise faith. What does that mean? So to believe, to trust, and faith, all 3 are fairly interchangeable. The book of John, 80 times, believe or believing. So that's a great place to start. How to reestablish Confidence. I love that word. That's great. So faith is the transfer of confidence. Now, I want you to picture this. Most people place confidence in. That's right. You got the answer correct. Absolutely, they trust themselves. They put confidence in the flesh, confidence in their own intellect, confidence in how I feel, confidence on the inside. And I say proper healthy faith is the complete. Ooh, that's the tough one. It's the complete transfer externally outside of self onto, you ready? Not a system, not the government, not the justice system, definitely not the police. It is the complete transfer of confidence outside of self onto someone significantly stronger, smarter, more loving, more compassionate. We already know who. But I have to start listing off the accolades of why I can trust him. More consistent, more understanding, someone with more knowledge, someone who has a better heart, someone who would do it right on purpose. I have to find someone I can trust outside of myself. Otherwise, all I have is self-confidence, self-trust, self-belief, and that by definition is a circle certain to fail. I am just swirling around the vortex of falling into the abyss because I'm trusting who? Well, not you. I can't trust you. Then you got to break out into song. If you really, really believe something, you should be enthusiastic enough to, I can trust Jesus. I can trust Jesus. He never once has failed to meet my needs. He is my strong tower, my strength in my weakest hour. I can trust Jesus. He takes care of me. Faith is the substance. Significant transfer of confidence onto the rock, onto the foundation, onto someone superior, someone significant, someone stronger and willing to protect me. And so those who are stuck in unbelief are in this swirling dervish, one foot nailed to the floor, spinning and spinning and spinning. I just can't believe it. Why? Because I'm believing myself, and I am, by definition, unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Well, put no confidence in the flesh. I would not vote for me. But we have to find someone who's worthy of our trust. Otherwise, we have all this faith built up, all this capacity to believe, and we're investing it in the mirror. And the mirror is unclearer. It's just bouncing back. So the essence of the material of faith, if it were an object, we should transfer the deposit onto, make our investment in someone. Now, the problem with belief is we like to believe what we can see. We like full comprehension before we make the investment. We want to know the future before we trust. But trust should be based upon a track record. And there's one who has a perfect track record. And we as humans, how do we rebuild a track record? Well, calm, consistent, collaboration with the King, walking with Christ in our attitude, our atmosphere, our language. So, the two things to replace as you reestablish every relationship in life is fear and unbelief. And I like to tell people my motives. So, I don't want there to be any contention. I don't think there is contention between me and you. I think the enemy, I would like to identify that we both have a mutual enemy. There has to be something wrong. There has to be something bad. There has to be a source of pain. I don't want it to be me or you. I'm not accusing you. You're not accusing me. I want to keep all the air clear. Here's what I want to say. I think both of us can agree that fear is our mutual enemy. And I want to say, at least on paper, that unbelief is our mutual enemy. I don't want you to live there. I don't want to live there. I don't want to live in the world of doubts and confusion and contention and accusations and filling in the blanks and guessing and hoping and just throwing something out and seeing if it sticks. I don't want to live in a world where I can't believe in anyone or anything, because I want you to have an awesome future. I want you to be able to trust other people and rebuild life's precious relationships, to restore, to reframe. So let's find two things that we don't want to control our lives and our thinking and our heart is fear and unbelief. God has something significantly better to replace those with.